Good evening, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you might be. Taking a moment to get online here. Let me know where you're from, so if you join me, come on in. Welcome. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Today we are going to go over the month of November. So my name is Julianne Duffy. Thank you for joining me here with Breathe Within Yoga. I wanted to come on today and we're going to look at the energetic overviews of what the month of November has in store for us. It's going to be exciting. And I was in the middle of, if you've been following me, I have been cleaning up my trailer or cleaning up my garage, and then we're moving back into our trailer and we're continuing to wander around North America. So I just took a break so we could go over what the month looks like for us. So I thought I would do it today because tomorrow's a little crazy with Halloween. If you celebrate it or don't, you got a bunch of stuff to do, and then we're right into November. So I thought today would be a perfect day to go over the energies. So first, let's start with the overall focus of November. So these are the charts. We're looking at both the Vedic and Western charts combined for the month of November. So really it's a deep integration month, post-eclipse season recalibration. That is the energy that we are going into. We've got Scorpio going to Taurus, from Scorpio to Taurus for November. Polarity is dissolving. And then we have Sagittarius to Gemini, which is the axis is activating. So it's about dissolving what we don't need and activating going forward. So activation, starting new. So the overall themes, is expansion, communication, higher meaning. So we are integrating the lessons that we learned over this last 18 months, last year and a half. And this is a karmic purging month. So November is really about dissolving and letting go of the stuff that we've learned, and then integrating and activating all those learned lessons. So some of the major things that are coming up in the month of November is we've got a Jupiter retrograde in Gemini until the mid of the month. So this is really looking at internal wisdom and like a review. So we're really kind of reviewing what we've already learned. Hello, Gamer Oz. Thank you. Well, I hope you're having a great day. Let me know where you're watching from. We are looking at the month of November and what it's got in store for us. So that's the first major transit, is kind of like the Jupiter retrograde to Gemini, which, like I mentioned, is internal wisdom and review is what we're really bringing in. Then we have Mars and Leo for the month, which is about courage to be seen and create. So this theme comes up during most of November. We're getting more courageous, putting ourselves out there, talking about the important things that we're sharing. And then we've got Venus in Scorpio, and this is going to bring in November intense emotional connection, truth in love. So there's a lot of relationships and a lot of that energy as well. Then we have the new moon in Scorpio. So that's deep emotional reset is also the energy. And that goes on around the 21st of November. So that's another transit that really activates. And then we get the full moon in Gemini, which actually goes until the December 5th. But the energy starts to build in the final week of November. So that's insight surface. We start to have that. So that's kind of the overall idea of the important themes and transits for the month of November. I would get that checked out. KZIM 20, that's not a good thing. Get that checked out. Thanks for joining me though. Go after you're done this. I'm back. Well, thanks, I guess. I don't know if that's good or good or bad. What I'm doing is I am reading the charts. It's a mixture of the Vedic and the Western star charts, looking at the month of November to give us an idea of what is in store. So we're going to go week by week. So I kind of give the major transits and the idea, which is really about integration, post-eclipse season recalibration. So we're dissolving the old and we're activating and integrating the new. So with the first week, so we're coming in November 1st on Saturday till the 9th, so the first week of November. The theme is really everything's clicking. So it's really about divine timing and that shift. So if you did join me for the weekly overview, we see by the end of this week, especially coming into today, like Thursday, it's Thursday here, Thursday night in Canada, that's where I am right now, we are really seeing that this divine timing energy starts to be activated. And then we also have fog starts to lift, destiny threads begin weaving tangibly. So it's like the destiny, the things that we've been putting forward start to show us that these seeds are getting hold. So we have focus on rebuilding, stability and confidence is the energy of this first week, and a lot of deep reflections and practical expansion. So really for the first week of November, it's a great time for realignment, rituals and career focus. So a lot, if there was an area where you really want to focus on the career and what you're building, this is the perfect time, is the first week of November. There's relationship tension eases. So maybe some of those things that we might have been struggling with, that energy starts to dissipate and makes it a little bit easier with communication. And that starts to be a healing through speaking and communicating. We have the November 8th and 9th portals. So it's really opening intuitive clarity and listening to your dreams. So it's all about divine timing, listening to that intuition, and it's a really great time to start to put yourself out there. So things that maybe we were struggling to get traction in, this is the week to start to go forward. We also have the numerology for the week. So the overall numerology from the 1st to the 9th is actually 11, which is like the vibration of mastery and illumination. So that is really what we're learning and what we're bringing in as we first step into the first week of November. So again, the theme is everything is clicking, divine time shifts, destiny threads are weaving, we're going forward, we're building stability, confidence, and there's a lot of deep reflections from the things we've learned over the last 18 months. And then as we jump in and continue, now, if you want more in depth on the weeks, please do subscribe because I do a weekly overview where we go in depth on each day. This is just the overview for each of the weeks of November and what we're going to see for those themes. So when we get to the second week of November, that's the 10th to the 16th, we're seeing the ground beneath us is shifting, stability through trust. So it's really that trusting the divine timing that we're going to see more. If you're doing that work and you're getting in alignment, you're going to see that be more prevalent. The more the divine is putting its assistant in helping you go forward. So we have Saturn stationing direct until the 15th of November, which is in that second week. So we're going to find emotional weight lightens. But really, again, it's only if we've done the work. So if we are working on ourselves, as I spoke about in my live on Sunday for this week, this is a lot about us healing ourselves, right? So if we're doing that work, the emotional weight, these things we've been maybe struggling with are going to start to release and it's going to start letting go. Curiosity meets emotional storms, but we breathe through the chaos. So we might see some emotional storms personally, some little bit of that type of stuff, maybe even on the collective. But when we breathe and we're taking that step and we're working on ourselves, that's going to help us get through any chaos we might feel in this second week. There's emotional breakthroughs as well, which is unexpected heart awakenings. So it's a lot about us like reconnecting to something that I think has kind of gotten lost. And maybe especially for this last 18 months, that it's like, okay, we're finally coming back to this healing and this love and awakening. Child of Yahana, I'm not sure how to say that. Welcome. Highlights of the second week of November. Expect sudden news or changes. Flow, don't force. So this is also the thing where there might be things that are suddenly completely different than you thought. Could be scheduling, plans like that. It's, again, we're learning from the first week in November and we're going to have this energy continuing, that trust the flow. Don't try to force our own into this. And it will work out easier and with more alignment when we're not forcing it. And then it's also a really good an ideal time, the second week of November, the 10th to the 16th, for cleansing, cleaning your house, organizing. That energy comes up in the second week of November. It's also really about breath work and nervous system reset. So taking that time, getting yourself grounded and reset, really great and very, very supported. The numerology as we come into the second week is 7, which is introspection and divine logic. So again, that divine guidance support is really what we're going to feel when we come into the second week. So if we've been doing that work, like it said, the emotional weight's going to lighten if we've been doing this work, and that divine logic, which may not be the logic in our mind, that is going to really be apparent. So trust the divine timing. That is really what we're going to see in November. Now, as we come into the third week, that's the 17th to the 23rd of November. The theme is Phoenix Codes Rising. So it's the new moon in Scorpio, emotional rebirth, because if we've been doing the work, we're releasing, we're letting go. So we're getting into this new emotional stage. And it's new creative fire. So we're going to feel like your soul's rewriting your story. Like it's time for that new, what you've always wanted. It's going to be maybe some of those aha moments that are aligned to happen this week, especially as we get closer to November. So tomorrow, the 1st and 2nd, when I did my weekly review, was about getting those aha moments. So if we've been working through that, by the time we get into this third week, you're going to really feel like you're going into a new story, and you are part of creating that new story. So it's very empowering. You'll feel the soul rewriting its story. Renewal after the storm is also a big part of this energy in the third week. Return to your light. And Sun conjuncts Mars. So we got Scorpio also on the Sagittarius cusp. So that really is talking about passion meeting purpose. So that might be a lot of where we're feeling our soul rewriting its purpose, because now our passion is meeting our soul's purpose here, right? So when we get into the third week, the energy is really best for manifesting, prayers, rituals, or creative launches. So things that you want to create. By the time we get into the third week of November, 17th to the 23rd, that is the perfect time to put out what you want to create, to help plant those seeds to be manifested. We also will see financial insight window of November 19th to 22nd. So this is Mercury Jupiter link. So what that really means is the mind and the higher mind and our existing mind finally get kind of into agreement, where we have logic and intuition click. But with the money end, we're reviewing financial plans, income streams, we're launching offers, teaching, learning, communicating. We're gonna receive downloads on how to expand prosperity without over effort. So that comes with this third week in November. So as I mentioned when we were doing the weekly live, if you're feeling like the flow has just kind of been really tight and there's been less of it, this is the perfect time to be putting out what you've been doing, put out more of that energy, because that's going to really help us be able to receive and expand that prosperity, with which it really, the idea is that it should flow, right? It should be easy without over effort. Like if you're hitting the grind and making something appear, great, but we want it to get in the alignment so we're really feeling that be manifested without having to overly grind and overwork and over effort to get that going. So that third week is primed for all of that energy. So as we go into then the fourth week, so we're November 24th to 30th. So as we jump into the fourth week of November, the themes of vision expands. So we're speaking about your new world. So that manifestation, the things you want to create, all that stuff. Carl King, definitely a liberal. That is absolutely one of the most insulting comments you can make. I am like legit putting you in timeout. That is offensive to anybody. And assuming anything based on appearances shows you how much of a dickwad you are. And I just don't have the energy. I've been cleaning my garage and working my butt off, and I don't need your trolling. And anybody else want to say stupid stuff? Go ahead. I know somebody else's poop is red. Like, what is that? Do you guys have nothing better to do? Probably not. So you're here trolling and making dumbass comments. Thanks. I'm not in the goofy mood. I'm just in a mood. I'm here to help, heal, and serve. Take what you want, or just go and watch somebody else. And go and, like, take your red poop and take your liberalness and go. Like, oh my God. That's what I say about this. Like, you want to know what the energy is? I'm going to help you and give you some advice. And if you don't, then you're welcome to move on. And, you know, everyone's got an opinion like a butthole, as I have said many times. And you know what? Maybe no one wants to hear or see your butthole. I'm going to say, I don't want to know your butthole. But as we get into the 4th week of November, we're getting November 24th to 30th. The themes of this is the vision expands, speak your new world. So energy shifts to Sagittarius. So communication, teaching, and visibility return. So if you felt like you weren't really being heard, or it's been a struggle to kind of gain some traction when you're sharing your message, that is going to really return in that 3rd week. But all of this aligns based on what you've done. So if you have been working on yourself, healing yourself, that by the 2nd week will become apparent. The energy of manifestation and what you want to create will be more emphasized and supported when we get into that the 3rd week. And then by the time we get into the 4th week, you're going to get more visible. You're going to be more seen. You're going to have that come up. So it's about nurturing your roots, release emotional poison. There you go. There's me being emotionally triggered. Like, do you have to? I'm just not in that mood. Do you have to be insulting? Of course you have to be insulting, because, you know, I am fully aware by going out and saying things in a public forum that anybody can make a comment and anybody can put that. So clearly some days are easier than others. That week it's going to be a little bit better, because you're going to get rid of those emotional things. You're not going to be bothered by them, and you're not going to be bothered by the people that have dumbass things to say. And so I'm waiting for that, and then it won't bother me, right? Nurture your roots, release the emotional poison, you know, let them go, let the trolls go. King Carl, like, you are such a douche even using that name. I'm just saying. Like, you name yourself, oh, call me Queen Julianne. Oh, I identify as a queen. Oh my God. I'm just not in the mood. And if you're in the mood for that, swipe away. I'm here to help you and serve and give you some advice. The highlights overall as we get into the 4th week of November is it's a great week for recording content. If you make that type of stuff, your ideas are going to come up. Public speaking, sharing wisdom, and creativity are all very highly aligned and supported. And as we begin, relationships will feel lighter and more more playful. So we're going to have just more fun with our relationships. There's a lot of relationship healing and ease over these next few weeks. And then beginning December, our intentions are growing and the path is clearing. So what we're creating going forward, all of these last 18 months are gone, and we're going forward in this clear path of manifestation. The numerology as we get into that last week of November is the number 6. So that is how the energy aligns. And it's harmony, communication, and heart connection. So it really is about doing that soul-based work and being here to help, heal, and serve. So as we go through the week, again, like really to summarize the month of November. November 8th and 9th, that is our alignment portal. So divine timing clicks into place. So we're going to see unmistakable signs, words, numbers, symbols. You might see 111, 222. Maybe it's an animal that you resonate with and you're going to see it. Those type of things are going to be very prevalent in that first week of November, especially when we get around the 8th and 9th. It's going to be also, some of the divine timing is going to be like that right person contacts you, messages you out of the blue. You just have that conversation with the right person who assists you. That's the divine timing, right? Doors that you thought maybe were closed will open like magic. So there might be things that you thought were like closed opportunities, and then magically, like as you go into that first week in November, it'll be like, what? This is still open? Oh, okay. Maybe it was a callback for a job. Like that's what really comes in intuitively is maybe thinking, oh, maybe you went for a job interview or a job and you never heard anything back. And then you're thinking, oh, okay, yeah, they just forgot about me, whatever, I was not important. That would change. That's as an example what we might feel with the alignment portal and the divine timing clicking in the first week of November. The second week, around November 15th, we've got Saturn direct in Pisces. So this energy overall for that second week is emotional maturity and reality check. Stop blaming outer chaos for our inner overwhelm. So that's essentially it, right? Like we're taking responsibility for our own feelings. Like, yeah, there's a lot of chaos going on. However, we are empowered and we are able to choose where we put that responsibility and take responsibility on what our actions are. So we don't have to buy into the chaos. We don't have to put more energy into that. It's about us learning, especially in that second week with that emotional maturity and reality check, is that we are responsible for our reality and taking that responsibility in not blaming other people or other things outside of us. What can we do to bring ourselves back to levity, sanity, or just taking responsibility, right? And it's also about the responsibility for rest, boundaries, and finance. Those are all those energies in the second week. And then again, when we get to the third week of November, around the 19th to 22nd, the energy is the Mercury-Jupiter link. And that's really the financial insight and the manifestation window. So as I mentioned in that third week, it's really reviewing financial plans, income streams, launching offers, teachings, learnings, things that you were thinking about creating are all highly aligned, and the energy support that in that third week with that Mercury Jupiter link. Hello, be alert. Well, welcome from India. I hope you're having a beautiful day or evening. I don't know actually what time it is there. And then when we get into then the other energy that really overlaps is around the 21st, which is still in that third week, is the new moon in Scorpio. And that's the shadow alchemy and our soul rebirth. So we're looking at facing what was hidden and reclaiming our power that was held. So it is really about us, as I said, like when we look at the overall energy and themes, it's about integration. It's about dissolving what was the lies and activating. So going forward with what we want to create, the doors are opening for that. The energies are getting in a line to support us in building what we want. I am in Canada right now. That is where I am. I am, if you want to know where my passport is, Canada. I am from, I believe, Earth. And I am not a liberal. I'm not a conservative. I don't align with governments. So let's go with that. So if you're interested, because that seemed to come up, and I don't know why everyone seems to think I am a specific way, but I just want to say and clear the air that I don't even believe in government. So let's put it there. I am anti-government. I am anti-participating in governments, and it doesn't matter where I'm from. So I just have no opinion, and I'm anti-government. Oh yes, and I apologize if I insulted you, be alert. But I don't agree, and I do not believe the government is here to save me. I don't believe the government is my friend, and I do not believe the government actually gives any cares about my well-being. And that's my personal opinion. So if you're coming on to call me anything related to any type of government or political party, like, move on. You're not going to get anything from me because I don't identify as being part of that system. There you go. If you want to go down, I don't even identify as being that. And that's the end of my rant, because I am now annoyed by that King Carl. Just sounds like a douchebag. So I shouldn't even go into live, because now it's made me annoyed. But there's the learning. The learning for the week that I will resonate is my emotional maturity with people saying stupid things to me when I go live, and I want to be here to help, heal, and serve and give you some guidance in your weeks and months. That's my intention. Anything else is made up in your own mind. So I do intend that some of this was useful. I'm going to cut it here for today. Please go back and look at it. We covered each week what the energy is for this month and the overall review. If you would like to know what your actual charts, we look at your Vedic, your Western. We also look at numerology, human design, and where you're located, so the astral cartology, and how that aligns into your purpose and where you're at. Hit me up, go to my website, Breathe Within Yoga. I am happy to meet with you and do a deep dive into giving you much more clarity. It is extremely healing, and knowing what your path is and where your charts align is extreme. It's healing, and it helps motivate you because often you're already on the right path, and it just gives you that pat on the back that you are going in the right direction. And this month is about divine timing, so if you're feeling that call, check it out. If not, I come back and I will be live again. Normally I go live on Sundays with the week in review. However, I will be traveling, so I will be live on Saturday night here in North America. So if you subscribe, you'll be updated and notified when I go live, and then you can find out what next week's got in store, which is very interesting. We're going to be working, as I said, with this first week in November. Everything's clicking. Divine timing is shifting and supporting us. So have a beautiful, beautiful day. And I advise you, if you're a troll and you just like trolling people and are just an a-hole, you know what? Maybe you should reflect on that. Maybe you should move on. Maybe there's bigger things you should really worry about, like yourself, and not what other people are doing. This is all about healing our personal selves, and that's what it comes to. And if you've been doing that work, this is all going to pay off, and you're going to start creating, and opportunities are going to align, and the divine has got your back. Thank you, Be Alert. Thank you for subscribing. And I will touch base with you guys on Saturday night for the first week of November and what we have in store on each day. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening, morning, wherever you are in this huge world. And I will see you all again soon.